Hello, 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 hello. Turn that up. Ooh. Is that the arm? Time to get a new arm. This one's rusted out on us. Here we go. Go to 5. Go to 5. Here we go.
The following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ.
I got him!
So don't get cocky.
This is about what's going to happen.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, why a house exploded in Ohio, and another doctor removes the wrong body part, and brothers get busted for streaming bad TV, and who wants to go on a $2 million treasure hunt. All this and much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. Over the next 60 minutes or so, we'll get you caught up on the things you might have missed and the things you're going to be talking about over the next 7 days. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing all right? Are you getting along with everyone? That's all we care about. Now, here in, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town we like to call Marshville. Population about 2,500 people. And we got a little bit of rain today. A little bit of rain, but it's nothing like what's been going on up in the Pacific Northwest. When I say Pacific Northwest, I'm talking about Washington State, up in that area up there. They have something called a bomb cyclone. Are you familiar with this? Now, don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video over on YouTube. You can see this totally uncut, unedited, anything, all the unstuff over on the YouTube channel. That's Deacon Live Podcast. Make sure you give us a little thumbs up over there, a little subscribe, and you can get this. You can see all the stuff that we're talking about here on the show in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. So here's what's happening. Hold on, girl. What happened? I know. You got excited. So what's happening right now, a rare bomb cyclone has formed in the Pacific Ocean and threatens to hit the U.S. western coast with strength of a hurricane. The strong storm system, packed with powerful winds, heavy rains, combined with the atmospheric river, has headed toward the Bay Area in Northern California this past Tuesday night. Now, we broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this just happened starting yesterday. The atmosphere river, which is a band of moisture in the Pacific, is expected to dump a month's worth of precipitation just in 3 or 4 days. The hardest hit areas are expected to be north of San Francisco and south of wherever. But don't they need something like this? I hate to say that, but don't they need something like this? I'm going to go back to me now. Don't they need something like this because of the Colorado River is like slowly, like the water levels are going like down, and they're losing drought. They have all the drought that everything's going on out there on the western, and they need this, good or bad. Hopefully more for the good, and no one gets hurt during this. So if you're not familiar with what a bomb cyclone is, I'm gonna switch back over to camera 4, and we can have this young lady from the Weather Channel explain what a bomb cyclone is. So here we go.
So what is a bomb cyclone? It's a low-pressure system that is undergoing what meteorologists call bombogenesis. This is when the pressure drops by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours or less, indicating that the system has intensified quickly. But we're not only dealing with the system bombing out, it's also hauling in an atmospheric river of moisture from the Pacific Ocean. That means multiple days of heavy rainfall, which will result in rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches, with
Seattle, Portland,
of up to 15 inches possible.
Crescent City.
Life-threatening flooding is expected with a rare level 4 of 4 flood threat issued for later this week. Other impacts include snow and higher elevations that could be measured in feet, as well as wind gusts topping 60 miles per hour along the coast.
Jesus.
Those in the west should stay weather aware this week and continue to monitor the forecast closely as we track this dangerous system.
So that's the definition of what a bomb cyclone is. Now, this young lady right here is out there doing the news, and she's driving around North Bend, I don't know the names of these towns. You guys, people out there on the West Coast that listen to us, we appreciate you over there in California and Washington State. Prayers go with you. Hope everything goes all right and you don't go through anything that we're going through here in North Carolina, Tennessee border with all the rain and stuff and mudslides and just the devastating towns. So this woman right here is in North Bend and she's driving around. So let's catch up on her and see what she's got going on.
Want to reiterate something WashDOT told me. If you're trying to go, lights just turned out. Wait, right out here, everything blackout in North Bend. You were watching it live. The lights just went out. As we were out here, I'm seeing some flicker on and off. But yes, North Bend is now in darkness. The winds are so powerful. I see tree limbs on the ground. You are watching all of this in real time.
And that's from Fox 13 over there on the West Coast. So, never knew that this was a thing, the whole cyclone bomb. So, hey, we learned something new today. So just be careful out there, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about that. I'm interested to see how much the government is, in reaction or action, who are they going to send out there to the areas that are affected by this bomb cyclone, as, in reflect of what we're dealing with here in North Carolina. For those of you who don't know, we had the hurricane that came through. There are still people that are trapped up in the mountains and so, well, they shouldn't live in the mountains, Deacon. Well, I mean, you want to get away from everyone. That's what happens. You want to get away from everyone. Unfortunately, the roads, the one road in, one road out gets washed out and you're stuck. But you know what? It's funny. The people in North Carolina and Tennessee are people that pretty much can take care of themselves, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, off the grid type people. But I think the people in Washington and California and that area right there, if someone comes in, how am I going to get my coffee? How am I going to get my, I don't know why they have a British accent, just because they're annoying. Well, how am I going to get my latte? Who's going to get my crescent roll? Who's going to get my Mong Chow Ping Bong Ding Dong from the corner store? Will DoorDash deliver? I don't know. It's the little things, the priorities on their side as to the priorities on our side. So there you go. That's why we're going to start the show. We got a lot to get into, lots to talk about, especially this house that all of a sudden exploded. They say for no reason. There's always a reason for an explosion. And we'll dive into this story, and we have the video to match. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Oh, welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to be heard? Well, we'd love to hear from you, and the way you can do that is go over to Prophet Radio, proud sponsors of Deacon Live and all the other fine programming that goes on here at the studio. So check us out over there at prophetradio.com. That's PROPHET radio. And at the top of the page, it says, be heard. Leave a message for Deacon Live. If you've got a microphone on whatever device you are listening to us on or at, speak clearly. You can be anonymous if you want. Your voice will come right into our inbox, and we'll play it on this show. If you get it in early enough, we broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, you got to wait till next week, which is fine. They can pile up, and we'll play your voice right along here in the studio. Tell us what you're thinking about. If you have any questions about any of the past shows that we've been doing, or if you just want to suggest anything, you can do that right there on that platform. That's prophetradio.com. At the top of the page says Be Heard. And you can be anonymous if you want. That's the best part. You can be anonymous, but you do have to put an email address. So just because they want to make sure you're not a robot. I love the Deacon Live. Really? What's your email address? Ha, ha, ha. I am the email address. All right there, robot. So I know that's the... All right. Let's get on with the show. Now, this student right here, they say that... Where did I just read it? Oh, they say that preparation meets opportunity is the definition of what luck is. Now, there's no better example than in 2016 discovery at the University of California, if they can make it through this cyclone here, by Irving, in University of California, by a doctoral student, Maya Lee Tai. After playing around in the lab, she accidentally makes a rechargeable battery that will last up to 400 years, which means that's a longer lasting battery than your laptops, your smartphones, with fewer lithium batteries piling up in our landfills. Well, how did she do it? A team of researchers at UCI have been experimenting with nanowires for potential use in batteries and found that over time, the thin, fragile wires would break down and crack after too many charging cycles. A charging cycle is basically when the battery goes completely full and then all the way back down to nothing. But one day, on a whim, Ty, the student, coated a set of gold nanowires with a magnesium dioxide and which is like a plexiglass-like electrolyte gel. She started the cycle on the gel capacitors, and that's when she got a surprise. She said this thing has been cycling 10,000 times and it's still going. She came back a few days later and said it's been cycling, filling all the way up and then going all the way down and then filling all the way up the charge and then diminishing the charge all the way down. It's been cycling for 30,000, numbers are hard sometimes, 30,000 cycles that and it keeps going on for months. This discovery is mind-blowing because the average laptop battery only lasts between 3 and 500 cycled charges. The nano battery developed by UCI made it through 200,000 cycles just in 3 months. That would expend the life of an average battery laptop by 400 years. Can you imagine that? No more all these things in the landfills and everything. The rest of the device would probably have gone kaput after decades before the battery actually dies. Servers and stuff like that would be null and void. They were like, oh no, your operating system just doesn't work. But outside of the laptop, for the battery for the laptop, you can use that technology in anything. Think about like the Prius and everything that's coming out there. Now, I don't know if she can do it in a larger scale, but it's a start, because I know that the Prius, they said that the batteries only last 10 years. That's charged all the way up and charged all the way back down and so on and so forth. So if they can get those batteries to last a little bit longer, 40 years, think about what the turnaround is as far as having to replace that battery, which is, I don't know, we're starting to get across that threshold now where I'm seeing like Priuses that were like, when they were brand new, when they first came out, they're like, oh, those are nice. Those are nice. Now I'm seeing like, unfortunately, I don't want to say crackheads, but I'm seeing like people that are buying like aftermarket, or not aftermarket, but through used car salesmen. Here's a Prius. How many hours are left on it? We don't know yet. This is still a new thing. Now, how long will this battery last? Well, it normally runs up to 350 miles. Now it's down to like 125 miles or something like that. I know I'm just throwing numbers out there to you, but you have to understand that those batteries in the Prius and those first initial cars, those electric cars, we're now coming across that, hey, we're going to have to start replacing those batteries. Now, if this technology would help to extend the life of those batteries, those cars would be a little bit more valuable on the street. Now they're not. I mean, you could probably pick up a dozen or half a dozen Priuses, made in 2000 for what? 20 grand, maybe? You can get a whole fleet of them. Have a taxi service type deal. And then you're always worried about them exploding or something like that. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that battery? Hopefully it'll go well and they won't snatch it and snatch your technology and, hide it away. Like the hydrogen cars that came out and all of a sudden those went away. Where'd those go? But this house right here in, this house right here in Ohio, I think it's is it Bethel, Ohio, all of a sudden explodes. Now, if you're not watching this on YouTube, now's a great chance to go over there right now, because this video shows from a Ring door camera the house exactly exploding. It's the only way I can say it. Just dramatically exploding. And let me switch to camera 4 so we can see it. We can all be friends here. Nope, I don't want to do that. So here we go. The explosion that rocked the neighborhood. So here we go. Boom!
The explosion rocked an entire neighborhood.
Kaboom!
And leveled this home in Bethel, Ohio, just before 9 this morning.
I just heard a big boom, and I looked out the window, and it's gone.
Felt the shockwave, fell out of bed. It was snowing insulation.
Neighbors captured the fiery aftermath and searched for victims.
I was trying to listen, like maybe if they were like under the rubble.
All units, we do have a lot of ammunition going off. Use caution.
Firefighters found a man and a woman dead. The sole survivor escaped through flames.
He come running from the residence. His hair was still on fire.
I'm on fire! Help me, Tom Cruise! Help me, Dalai Lama! Help me, help me!
He's being treated for burn injuries while investigators determine the cause.
We're sifting through debris. We got to try to figure out where the fire started.
Boom!
So far, the victims of the blast have not been identified. Carter Evans, CBS News.
Thanks, Carter. So, in my opinion, and I don't want to say that I worry about this because it's kind of like you got to be careful. Now, I don't know what the level of neighborhood this is. You know, it didn't look like a meth explosion. Let's put it that way. That's kind of where I was going. It didn't look like a lone, rundown, income level family or neighborhood where they were like doing meth and the whole place exploded. There was a house, I think, last year, if not the year before, where it exploded and took out the 3 houses next to it because it was one of those zero plot line neighborhoods. This house right here was a 4-corner house, and I don't know if it was a mobile home or just like a manufactured home. But a lot of times they have either natural gas or they have propane. And when I say that, you're like going, okay, well, what do they need it for? Well, you got your stove, which is a straight gas line out to the propane tank, and then your heating unit, which is usually outside anyways. But one thing that people forget about is your hot water tank. A lot of times if you've got natural gas or propane gas or something, that hot water tank is on all the time, and it's feeding gas all the time. And you've got to be careful about having a hot water tank. I don't know if you remember the old school days where those things used to shoot out of people's roofs, you know, like a rocket, like the SpaceX rocket. It would shoot out. They would explode so many times they would blow up. Now this has blown up the whole house. So that's what I think happened. Unfortunately, 2 people died, and the one guy got rushed to the hospital because his hair was on fire. Help me, help me. Help me, Matt Damon. But there's got to be, in a house like that, because we do have propane, we do have a CO2 sensor or oxygen dioxide sensor or something like that in the house, and we keep it on our house. Here we go. The west side of the house is where the tank is stored. Now, the tank is stored about 50 feet off of the property, but there's still lines that run underneath through the ground, through the earth, up into our house. And so if anything's going to leak, it's going to leak on that side of the house. So we do have sensors on that side of the house. Not so much on the east side of the house because there's nothing over there that has propane. Now, we do have a propane stove, but it's the gas top and electric bottom. It's a dual fuel. Our water heater is outside. It's a tankless water heater. So if that explodes, we lose the bedroom. But unfortunately, that water heater is on the opposite side of where our bed is. So fingers crossed that never happens. But yeah, I think that's what happened. Gas came out and the wife came home and go, "Get my Marlboros. You dumb bitch, here's your Marlboros, here's your goddamn Zippo too." And as he throws, Jethro throws the Zippo across the room, it flicks and lights and then kaboom. Well, anyways, unfortunately, that's what happened there. When we come back, are you tired of paying high credit card interest rates? Well, CSPAN nailed down 2 people from, I think, MasterCard, maybe Visa, and I know CSPAN, Snoresville, right? But this guy, this senator was asking the important questions, and the people at MasterCard and I think it was Visa had no answers for him. We were like looking at each other going, I don't know. And I'll dive into all that and how much we're getting screwed with credit cards. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Well, we will give you something for free, but what you got to do to get it is go over to ProfitRadio.com. Now, it's not a scam or anything like that. They just, Profit Radio just wants to say thank you for listening to all the fine programming that comes out of the studio. So go over there, grab yourself some stickers, some magnets, some keychains, fill out that little form. It's, like I said, it's not an email grab. We do not have the time, and they do not have the time to sit there and bombard you with a whole bunch of junk stuff. They just want to say thank you. It's that easy. Pick out what you want. They'll mail it out to you if you're in the United States. If you're outside the United States, it might take a little bit longer to get to you, but don't worry, they'll get to you eventually. But so grab some of the over there underneath the free swag section, and don't forget, while you're there, let us hear from you over at the Be Heard section as well. Also, if you listen to any of the artists that are played during the breaks and stuff, they're all independent artists striving for your attention. So make sure you check those people out as well. And if you've missed any of the artists of who they are and where they're at, go to the Be Heard section, and you can find every single artist that is looking for your attention over there as well, and listen to them, and then make sure you search them down and add them to your playlist as well. Now, this gentleman right here, wish he had a better playlist than what's going on in his life right now. Jason Kennedy, 48 years old, woke up in disbelief in Manitoba, Canada, after going into surgery to have his right leg amputated. When he woke up, he realized that they removed the wrong leg. I know, exactly. He says, I went to have my leg amputated. I woke up and the surgeons had taken the wrong one. And, you know, we make jokes all the time about, when you're going to have something done, make sure you put an X on your arm. I was watching a TikTok video of a girl the other day that had some kind of elbow cancer on her right arm. And she was making jokes about it, saying, you know, she's waving with her right arm. This is the last time I'm going to wave with my right arm. And, you know, the live feed was like, hey, make sure they put an X on it. And she actually rolled up her sleeve, and on her shoulder area said, you know, basically it had dotted lines and some kind of scribble like cut here or something, you know, just to make sure. But over in Manitoba, Canada, Jason Kennedy woke up with his wrong leg missing. So how did this happen? Let's dive into the actual story and find out what's going on. So he went to Manitoba, Canada. I keep saying Manitoba. He was in Grace Hospital for surgery, which they suggested to him after he developed a bone infection that he was aware that he could eventually lose both legs. But Kennedy said his right foot had worsened in condition, so the doctor had to separate. I'm reading too fast here. I got so many things going on. So let's go back to the beginning here. So he went in, Jason Kennedy went in to schedule surgery, which was suggested to him after he developed a bone infection that he was aware of. He could see him actually losing both of his legs because of this. So, but Kennedy said that his right foot was in worse condition, so the doctor had to separate at a separate hospital, told him that he would need to have it removed. Coming out of anesthesia, I woke up from my bed, is what he says, in the recovery area, and I was in disbelief. Disbelief that they took the wrong leg. I knew for a fact they did the wrong leg because I'm sitting there looking at it and it's gone. Kennedy, who lives in Winnipeg, the capital of Canada, province of Manitoba, originally from Blood Vein First Nation, he's a Native American up there in Canada, said he went to Seven Oaks General Hospital on October 23rd due to pain and bleeding in his right foot. The amputation at the Grace Hospital was ordered on October 28th and took place just a few days later on October 31st. Hey, happy Halloween. Guess what? We removed the wrong leg on you. It wasn't until the amputation that he found out that his left leg was removed. I was just wondering, he said, if this was a bad dream. The pain is still in my right foot, and there's right now as we speak during this article. A spokesperson for the Winnipeg Regional Healthy Authority said that in a statement that due to the patient's confidentiality and most of the information we cannot provide is limited in this complex clinical situation, but we are aware of the incident and distress caused by the patient, their family, and their care providers as well. Members of the care team have personally met with the patient and offer their sincere apology and discussion of the next steps. Now, so he's got bone cancer or something, and like an infection. And the one hospital said, well, eventually going to lose both legs unless you do something. So he says, okay, we'll go do something. My right foot's killing me. Can you do something with that? Yeah, we'll take it off. All right. And he goes to another hospital. Am I understanding that right? And they took the left leg and left the right leg, but he still has to get the right foot taken off. So eventually he was going to lose both legs? Did I read the story right? I don't know. I got so many fucking pop-up ads I can't fucking see through the fucking thing. Oh, yeah, right here. It says, it was suggested to him that after he developed the bone infection that he was aware that he could eventually lose both legs. So we went ahead and chopped off the head of the snake, but guess what? Another one's going to grow, I guess. Is that the analogy? I don't think that's the right analogy, but still. They took off his left leg. Now they got to turn around, and take off his right foot, and then I guess like kind of piece and parcel it out until they get it all done, and then I wish him luck. He's a fisherman, and that's his main job that he does over there. So I don't know what he's going to be. Canada's got good insurance, right? Don't they have a good medical thing? So you think, right? Now, you think you've got a good rate on your home loan. You think you got a good rate on your car loan. You know what you don't have a good rate on is your insurance card or your credit cards. Everyone knows that credit cards suck. And I listened to a guy by the name of Dave Ramsey. He hates credit cards. And I can understand that. But a lot of times, a lot of families have to rely on that as backup, for emergency purposes. I mean, you don't go ahead and put your Starbucks coffee on a credit card. You don't go out there and have a big dinner and put it on your credit card unless you get points back or something like that, and you can pay it off at the end of the month when the bill comes in. But what about those people that put on emergency an amputated leg on the credit card because they can't afford it because the insurance here in the United States sucks, to go there and have a thermometer stuck in your butt and they say, okay, you're not sick. Here's $500. Here's a $500 bill. What are you supposed to do about that? This gentleman right here, the U.S. What am I saying? Oh, this is in C-SPAN. And what they've done here is they've nailed down these two people who are representing MasterCard and I believe Visa. Well, I got to see the little placards in front of them before I can tell you exactly who they are. But this senator is pinning these people down representing the credit cards, and let's find out exactly what happens. I know this is kind of boring, but we do have it over on YouTube, so you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here on the air. I'm going to blow this up real nice and big so we can find out exactly who's who and what's going on. So here we go.
Slightly higher.
It's higher than 50%.
Hold on.
Patrick.
It's circa 50%.
Mr. Sheedy.
Let's go to the beginning. Here we go. Here's the beginning.
Mr. Patrick.
It's circa 50%.
Mr. Sheedy.
Slightly higher.
It's higher than 50% profit margin?
Slightly higher than MasterCard, yes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is
50% profit margin. I mean,
these are the CEOs of Visa and MasterCard.
Absolutely unbelievable. What's the answer to the Walmart question, by the way, that Senator Welch posed to you?
This is Josh Hawley, Republican senator from Missouri.
What's Walmart's interchange fee that you negotiate with them?
I don't have it with me today.
You don't have any idea whatsoever? Is it higher or lower than 2.5%?
Walmart negotiates their rates based on...
This is Linda Kirkpatrick, MasterCard President of America. So she's explaining if Walmart, you give them better rates because they're a larger company. They're at 2%. That Walmart uses MasterCard, the company itself, to borrow money.
On the business that they do with us.
Meaning they're big. They're really big. They're gigantic. So they get a better deal than Mr. Callahan or most small businesses in Missouri. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, Senator, We have volume discounts that we offer to some merchants. I suspect Walmart is one of them.
And this is Bill Sheedy from Visa.
And I don't believe that it's commercially unreasonable to get an arrangement where, in exchange for more volume, a merchant can qualify for lower rates.
Well, I'm sure it's not commercially unreasonable for Walmart, or certainly it's in their financial interest and in yours. But I doubt it's in Mr. Callahan's financial interest. And my question to you, Mr. Callahan, is when you've got Walmart and other major competitors getting charged much less than you are, why in the world would you stick with these guys? I mean, why is it that small businesses continue to use Visa and MasterCard when you're getting charged so much more?
It's in my...
And this is Chris Callahan. Oh, yep. This is Chris Callahan, and he is complaining. He's a co-owner of Batkill Books, and he's complaining about his interest rate compared to, big corporate conglomerates.
In my opinion, it's a matter of convenience for the customer, and customers matter to our business.
Maybe is it because that Visa and MasterCard are effectively monopolies? They control 80% of the market?
Certainly part of the
80% of the market? I'm just having a hard time understanding, Mr. Sheedy and Ms. Kirkpatrick, you have a business model. You're making over 50% profit margin.
Wow.
You are able to give the shaft to small businesses. Estimated cost to Missouri businesses from these fees is $1.5 billion. That's with a B, $1 billion a year. Why aren't all of these businesses running away from this model? Because they don't have a choice, because you control so much of the market. This is classic monopolistic behavior, and yet your testimony here today is you don't want any competition. You have 80% of the market, but you don't want any more competition. I'm having a hard time finding that position defensible, let alone sympathetic. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of money that you're making.
Yes. Oh, and I'm sorry. He's got spittle galore coming off of his thing because he's getting into it. He's biting into this. The senator is, and he's excited. He's got them pinned down. And they're the other two, the CEOs and the representative of MasterCard, are just sitting there going, with a polite smile on their face. They're just sitting there going, I know, but unfortunately, you don't know what we got going on in the background. $7 billion in profit.
What you're charging small businesses and consumers, and yet your testimony is, please, we can't possibly have any competition. I mean, let's talk about what you're doing to consumers who hold your cards. Last year, as I understand it, there were 726 million Visa and MasterCard credit cards issued in the United States. That's about 2 for every 1 person in the United States.
Jesus.
Do either of you know how much debt is owed on your networks, Ms. Kirkpatrick?
Yes, we know that one.
We're not the bank, so we don't have visibility into that information. We also don't generate revenue from interchange.
Oh, okay, you have no idea. Mr. Sheedy, do you know?
I don't know.
Well, let me help you out.
Yes, you do. Let's
have a look.
Here he goes. He's got his chart.
$1.17 trillion. $1.17 trillion is what consumers now owe on your credit card networks. Do either of you know what the average interest rate is on your networks? Mr. Kirkpatrick?
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Oh, Senator, we're not the bank. We don't set the interchange.
I know.
We don't set the
benefit
rates
from it, and you know. Do you know what it is? This is your business model.
We don't collect revenue from interest rates.
Do you know?
I don't, Senator.
I mean, do either of you read the newspaper? Forbes magazine just estimated last week that the average credit card APR in your networks is 28.75%. Average.
Jesus, average.
Let's call it 29%. It's nearly doubled in the last 4 years.
That room is quiet.
That is astounding. Absolutely astounding. And you just testified a second ago that you've got more than 50% profit margin, and yet your testimony here today is you can't possibly survive if there's any competition. How can that be true? How can that be true? You've got debt like we've never seen before in American history. Your profit margins are as high or higher than they've ever been. You have 80% of the relevant market in the credit card interchange fees that we're talking about, and yet you couldn't survive if there's any competition?
No, we'd all starve.
What am I missing?
So think about that next time. Let's go back to me now. So think about that next time when you go to open up a credit card. Oh, I'm going to do a credit card. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I remember, and he's right. I remember growing up when I was going to school, if I got a credit card, 17% was high. And now it's on average, he said, 29%. 29% of your credit card interest rate. That's crazy. And it's 50% of profit margin. And we're not the bank. We're not the bank. No, but you have to work with money. Doesn't just fall out of the air. So think about that next time. And I know Trump. I know we don't get too political. We try not to get too political, but right now that's the tapestry of what's going on in the world right now. I know Trump is trying to cap all that, all credit cards at 10%. Now, granted, people are going, well, he can't do that. He can't do that. I know he can't do that. But this is one step. This little caucus that they have right here on C-SPAN, they're trying to figure out what's the best approach to do it. So Trump or the president, when you say Trump, people automatically click off. I'm not listening anymore. If the president says, no matter who it is, that credit cards should be capped at 10%, okay? He does not literally have the right to do that. We understand that. Do you understand that? But he can legislate the House and the Congress to say, okay, all credit cards, we're going to do this. This is the national rate now, and so on and so forth. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get it down, the current president right now is trying to get it down to 10%. Which is, I think, reasonable. But then they were saying something of the effects of, well, now you're going to affect the poor people. The poor people can't get credit cards because now credit cards aren't going to be given to everyone all the time because of that low interest rate. They only give them to people who makes a little bit of money, i.e. the middle class and the higher class people, because they can afford to make those $200 payments every month. When you go to the lower class people, and you give them 10% interest rate, they're afraid that the lower class people, because they don't know how to manage money, that's why they're poor. No, you can't think that way. There are lower class people that are doing just as damn good and happy life, happy, family and all that stuff. They just make less money because of their skill level and their education level and all that. Now you can get into that whole story in all itself, but we've got to put some more money back into people's pockets. We have to get more money circulating in our economy. We have to stop feeding these machines. And you want to talk about, oh, he's giving tax breaks to all the rich and stuff. No, we're trying to, I say we, like I'm on the team, right? But you have to understand that that's the machine. That's the machine where you're trying to lower those interest rates and try to keep more money. And no matter who you are, middle, lower class, upper class, whatever, keep more money in your pocket. And this is one step of doing that. All right, now this soapbox is getting rickety up here. All right, when we come back, let's see, where are we going? Oh, these two brothers, a bunch of ding-dongs. And I say ding-dongs, but genius in the same sense. They were streaming bad TV and got in trouble, but got away with it for many years and made a whole lot of money. And I'll dive into their story when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget to follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go over to prophetradio.com and you can see social contacts. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. I went to go sign up for Facebook. And I said, okay, I promised everyone that after the election, I would go in there and I'd sign back up so everyone can, see all the pictures and all the cool stuff that we do here in the studio. And so I get in there and I put in, create a new account. So I type in, I forget what I typed in, how it started out. Do you want an email or a phone number? So I said my phone number. And they go, unfortunately, Deacon, that account has been suspended. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm trying to create a new account. So I said, okay, instead of my phone number, I put my wife's phone number in there. Unfortunately, Deacon, the number associated with that phone number, the account has been suspended. I'm like, okay, let's try an email address. So I put an email address. Unfortunately, rinse, repeat. And I go, well, shit. So when I go to sign in on Facebook and Meta, anything Meta, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know what other stuff they got going on. It says I've got this account has been not deactivated, and you have 128 days to protest or put in your whatever. But they don't give you any information. They make it so hard for you to go in there and go, hey, no, the guy that was posting Russian stuff on my Instagram, which I never touch, is not me. And they don't give you any, click here. And then you click here, and it's a loop. We went through this before. I told you this. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to wait the 128 days out. I know everyone's like going, really? We got to wait that long? No, you don't have to wait that long. You can still find us over on TikTok. That's a knockoff brand. You can find us over on TikTok at Podcast Famous, and you can find us over on YouTube. Search DeaconLive Podcasts. DeaconLive, all one word, and then podcast. And you can see all the stuff, the totally uncut show that you are not hearing on the on your iHeartRadio, Spotify. Is Apple Podcasts, I think that's still around. They'll never go around. Their profits are only 45%. Now, this right now, even before, I know I'm trying not to get political, but these are the things that you're going to be talking about here in the next couple days or so. Even before the current elect president takes office, this is what's happening as I don't know, why did it take so long for this to happen is the question that I have. And it says the Department of Homeland Security, those guys. And the article starts by saying that the Department of Homeland Security deported a large number of undocumented Chinese migrants back to their home country this past November 16th. Now, we broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today's the 20th. So when was the 16th? This past Saturday. Guess what? Rise and shine. Rise and shine. Newsweek understands that 109 Chinese nationals were removed on a charter flight. And this is the third largest chartered removal flight to China within 6 months after more than 100 migrants returned in June, and 131 Chinese nationals were deported back in October. The Department of Homeland Security is enforcing the U.S. immigration laws and delivering tough consequences for those entering unlawfully without authorizations, according to the statement issued by Homeland Security officials. Well, a day late and a dollar short. You know what I mean? This removal flight is yet another example of the department's ongoing cooperations with the People's Republic of China and other international partners to reduce and deter irregular migrations through enforcement of immigration laws, the statement says. So the June flight was the first major charter flight and for deportation since 2018. Coordinated with Chinese National Immigration Administration, the flight carries 116 Chinese nationals who were deported back to China for living in the U.S. illegally, marking the first significant deportation flight of the year. It came after an ongoing... Hold on, here we go. Excuse me, there we go. It came after outgoing President Joe Biden issued a proclamation to temporarily suspend the entry of undocumented migrants across the southern border. Oh, really? Just now you're going to do that? According to the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol encounters have dropped by more than 52% following the June 4th proclamation. Over the last year, the Department of Homeland Security has removed undocumented citizens from the countries such as Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Egypt, Senegal, Uzbekistan, India, and China. More undocumented migrants were removed or returned in this fiscal year than any other year since 2010, according to the Homeland Security. According to the Pew Research, Pew Research Center, in 2022, approximately 90,000 Chinese nationals entered the U.S., making China the third largest source of immigrant workers after Mexico and India. So you want to talk about, Mexico's taking over our jobs, Mexican people are doing this and doing that, and Indian people are doing that? No, 90,000 Chinese nationals have come in too. Now, what are they doing? I don't know. You tell me. They haven't really forced anything as far as, hey, the Chinese people are taking over our jobs. Are the Chinese people doing something? Well, for the most part, they're running from their country, but they need to do it correctly. Now, are they like sleeper cells or like terrorist groups? Because, the Chinese people, they're like going, arm in arm with Putin right now. Human rights groups are concerned with the dangers facing vulnerable ethnic groups such as the Uighurs. I'm going with that. Carolyn Nash, an Asian advocate director of the Amnesty International USA, told us that Amnesty is concerned with the resumption of deportation flights between the U.S. and China. The Customs and Border Protection does not think that ethnic... I always have problems saying this word because I don't know if it's ethnic or ethnicity, leaving authorities no way to confirm whether the U.S. is returning Hong Kongers, that's a weird word, and other vulnerable minorities. Nash said that the Chinese people were coming to the U.S.-Mexican border to seek asylum. However, the CBP One app run by the Custom and Border Control, which is meant to allow non-citizens without appropriate documents. Here we go. Nash said that the Chinese people were coming to the U.S.-Mexican border to seek asylum. However, the CBP One app, run by the Custom and Border Patrol or Border Control, which is meant to allow non-citizens without appropriate documents who wish to enter the United States to submit information at land points of entry, lacks Chinese languages, so they can't read it. This creates language barriers for Chinese nationals, forcing them to enter illegally, according to the Amnesty International. Well, I don't know if that's true, because with apps and stuff like that, they've got to have some kind of translation. So, but what you're not seeing is, what you're not hearing about is, all right, you got Mexicans out there, world Mexican, because of their closest border. They're coming in the country legally. What you're not hearing about, which is just as worse, is people from like India coming into the United States. You get calls every day. I know you do. They're in call centers here in the United States. You get calls all the time. Nobody says anything about that. They complain about the phone calls. Hello, this is Derek from Medical Supply, whatever. And you're like going, okay, Derek, where are you located? Santa Monica, California. And now I think California has come up as one of the cities is going to be a sanctuary state, something like that. In precedent for the migration thing when Trump, the president-elect, takes office. So, California is going to have a grand old time over there. Well, they got a bomb cyclone coming at them, so maybe they'll rinse the water down the sewer. And speaking of, people from India coming over, these two brothers got busted in Brooklyn, in New York, for running I guess they were doing something known as, they were running a TV stream called the 24/7 TV stream. And that's the name of the thing. I mean, they couldn't come up with anything better. It's 247 TV stream. And a Brooklyn federal grand jury handed down an indictment last week accusing two brothers, one in New York and the other one in Bangladesh, for running an illegal sports and video streaming service. Noor Nabai, 56, from New York, and his little brother, Mahad Raham, 36, from Bangladesh, operated a low-cost streaming service from May 2017 to November 2024. Under these alleged scheme, the brothers posed as regular customers to at least 4 separate streaming services to obtain legitimate subscriptions to at least four content providers. Then they allegedly rebroadcast these dramas, kids TV, and cooking shows with live sporting events featuring like NBA and baseball and hockey and all that, and rodeo events to the streamers on their website shows. According to authorities allege that the two brothers collected more than $7 million operating an illegal streaming service, which caused more than $100 million in damages to legitimate streaming services and content owners. As alleged, the defendants operating a bootleg online streaming service that distributed copyright television programs that they stole for their personal enrichment. The attorney Breon Peace for the Eastern District of New York says, "My office and the Justice Department are committed to protecting the rights of intellectual properties or IP holders from digital pirates like these defendants. To get the games and TV shows in front of the viewers, the two brothers created multiple websites for subscribers to get content and develop an Apple application called 247 IPTV Player." So they create an app. These guys are, you know what? They're in the wrong business. Well, they're in the right business, but now they got caught. Now they're in the wrong business. They also rented server space on a hosting stream, connected and created shell companies to hide the operations and use the merchants to take credit cards and electronic payments. Court documents show the scheme ran for over years as the duo collected millions and millions of subscribers. The brothers are charged with criminal conspiracy, illicit digital transmission services, conspiracies to commit wire fraud, and aggravated identity theft. The two brothers were arrested on Tuesday, and they appeared in the U.S. Court District this afternoon for arraignment. Authorities said that in an arrest warrant, the brother in Bangladesh who remains at large, the one brother from New York was charged. The other one's, he's in Bangladesh. He's gone. He's in the wind, man. He's dust. The governments are seeking illegal proceeds and property related to the copyright infringement. So these two brothers said, let's sign up for Netflix. Let's see. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and what's another one? Let's say Paramount. They sign up for it. And somehow they created an app on your phone. And who are they selling it to? That's the thing. Who are they selling it to? Are they selling it to people overseas who don't have the benefit and the luxury of having, the Western world, the United States programming? And they were like, everyone's watching on their phones. You've seen the movies, because the movies are true, where they sit there and they're banging on the box. They got no kind of entertainment out there. They want to see what the Western world's like. So these 4 people, I wouldn't have arrested them. Well, I would have arrested them for doing that. But then you have to understand that there's a market there. So, hey, if we can make something similar, because they made $7 million. These two knuckleheads, these two ding-dongs, it was one in New York and one in Bangladesh, made $7 million in 7 years. That's $1 million a year. Thanks for the math there, Deacon. But so there's an avenue there, but I don't know what the regulations are as far as, FCC and broadcasting overseas and all that stuff. Make it cheaper for those people. Excuse me while I go through puberty. Make it cheaper for those people on there. Maybe have some kind of package for those people in those, third world countries that can't sit there but they've got like burner phones and whatnot, and they want to watch, what is America's Best Bake Off something? I don't know, the one that my wife watches with the British people. But there's some kind of demand there. So take their lesson, Put them in. Don't put them in jail. Don't put them in. Just ship them back somewhere if they're not legal. Ship them back somewhere, or say, hey, how did you do this? Bring them on. Instead of filling up jail cells after jail cells with people that are just doing something that's a demand. There's a demand for that. Well, you're like, well, drug dealers support a demand. That's a different story in itself, and that's a date for another show. So yeah, I would take their knowledge, their talent that they have to create all this, because there was an avenue there was an empty void there, and they took it. And so give them a little fine, take a little bit of money from them for fines and fees and court costs, but find out what they did. How did you make this work, and use that to benefit here in the United States type stuff, because there's a demand for it, obviously, or they wouldn't have done it. All right, when we come back, I want to make $2 million, but to do that, you got to go on a treasure hunt. I said, okay, let's go. The problem is you've got to read. I hate reading. It's this guy who wrote a book, and he stashed a whole bunch of stuff throughout the United States, valued up to $2 million each. So we'll dive in his story and why he did it when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for every podcast we do, I have matching video over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe over there. We don't do it for the money. There's no affiliate programs over there on YouTube. It's just another way for you guys to enjoy the podcast. And you can see the whole entire podcast, as it should be, completely uncut and uncensored over on the YouTube channel. You can see all me like flutting around and messing with bugs and stuff during the break. So go on over there. It's a great watch. There's nothing on TV anymore. If you're not doing the 24/7 live streaming anymore, because that's been shut down. So if you need something to watch, every show's the same length as the podcast, but there's just a little bit more extra that you get over there. And check us out over on YouTube. Now, I want to go on a trip. Well, I say I want to go on a trip. I want to go on a trip to win some money. But I don't want to have to do anything to do it. I just want to go somewhere, show up, and get my money. Now, this gentleman right here, I don't know. I hate when people trying to be not snarky. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's start over. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us over on your YouTube channel. For every podcast we do, we have a matching video over there, completely uncut and everything. You can see the podcast in its whole entirety, videos and warts and all, I guess is what I'm saying. Go over to YouTube, search Deacon Live Podcast. That's Deacon Live, all one word, then podcast. Give us a like over there. It's not a money grab. It's just another avenue for you to enjoy the podcast on a different media level. Now, this gentleman right here, I don't know if I hate him or love him or what, or I'm just kind of rolling my eyes right now. The gentleman's name is John Collins Black. I don't know why they're double hyphenated, because he's probably from a family of divorced mom and got remarried, and he probably took both parents' names. I don't know. But John Collins Black once dreamt of finding treasure on his own. Now he has hidden 5 treasure boxes around the United States, and he wants people to find them. Fuck you. Just give me the goddamn money. Collins Black, I'm going to just call him John, because it seems very pretentious, the Collins Black thing, is a musician turned entrepreneur in California. Told Business Insider that he made a tidy sum of money from Bitcoin investments during the COVID pandemic, and has embarked on a project securing a hoard of treasures and then send people off to go searching for them. Hopefully they will enjoy their journey. John told Business Insiders there are now 5 chests out there, 4 smaller ones and 1 larger one, hidden across the United States. He says that none of these chests were buried or placed on private land, and reaching the boxes wouldn't require any dangerous stunts. He's written all the clues needed to find the treasure chest in a book called There's Treasure Inside. Of course, he's promoting a book. Collins Black said that finding these leads in the text would require you reading closely and a sharp but open mind to figure out where the clues are. He's just trying to sell his goddamn book. There's no treasure out there. Collins Black secured most of the pieces of treasures at an auction and through antique dealers over the past 5 years. They include a Cassius Bitcoin, the first physical Bitcoin ever made, a green Colombian emerald, which I think is illegal in some places, a 2002 Shining Charizard Pokemon card, for all you Pokemon people out there, antiques from a shipwreck, and George Washington's jelly glass. Ooh, I want that one. I'd rather have that than the goddamn Pokemon card. Business Insider has viewed the receipts of Collins Black's purchase at the auction. He told Business Insider that he had a loose budget for the treasure's value, but based on the price that he paid for the items at auction, he estimated the total cash value of the stash was between $2 million and $3 million. But frequent fluctuations of the items, such as Bitcoin, could change what the chest is worth. What about the Poké cards? They're going to go up and down too. And Washington's jelly jar? Yeah. They didn't say it was KY jelly, did it? I was actually trying to figure out what to do with the sweet spot, he says, but how far would it go to make this make it worth without being it too big, he said. Good writer, right? I didn't want people to go crazy about it. All 5 treasure chests are also puzzle boxes. Great. So now I got to get there. I got to figure out a fucking puzzle. But if one finds the chest, the instructions are placed with an outlining on how to open up the boxes so people don't have to destroy them. Fuck that. If I go all that length and find it on top of a mountain, I'm fucking destroying the box. I'm fucking kicking it down the hill with a fucking boulder on top of it. Now, he only knows where the chests are, so quizzing his family members and his publisher won't help. He places the boxes around the country himself, hiking more than 100 miles up these trips. So he's gone out on these journeys and stuff. So if you don't want to ask the family stuff, just there's got to be a way to find out where he's traveled in the last couple years or whatever. Collins said he didn't think he'd regret giving his money away. But if Bitcoin goes for $500,000 or even up to $1 million, these treasures could be worth up to $10 million in 5 to 7 years if someone hasn't found them. There were definitely a couple of items where people were like, "Are you sure that you want to put that in a treasure?" But at the end of the day, I think it would be exciting for all those who find it. Okay, so listen. What are the things again? Some kind of Pokemon card, an actual Bitcoin that actually was a Bitcoin, George Washington's KY jelly jar, and what else? Was that it? Bitcoin, Pokemon card, and antiques from a shipwreck. This is not cool stuff, because you know what? You know what's going to happen? He's going to make me work for it. I've got, let's say I find the shipwreck stuff. Okay. Oh my God. Shipwreck stuff. Where do I go now? How do I turn this crap, this underwater crap that I found on your treasure chest, whatever? How do I turn that into money? Now I got to do the legwork. Fuck that. Just give me the money. Just put a stack of bills into a box, and if you can figure out the box and the puzzle, by all means, you get the money. But sticking an old rusty nail from a shipwreck in there, that's going to be worth millions. No, it's not. I'm not even going to do it. Like I said, I'm taking a hatchet to it and busting every box open. But you got to read his book. Oh, guess what? New York Times top seller this week. Now, a top seller for anyone who has a house with dogs or animals or anything like that is Roomba. We've got here on the property, we've got 3 Roombas. Just by default. We bought one because we had one dog. And then we bought another one because we didn't know how to repair one. So we just bought another one. And then I figured out how to repair them by buying new batteries and buying new all contacts and stuff. So now we have 3 Roombas that run through the house, not all at the same time. They're bumping each other and talk to each other like Furbies. But they run at separate times throughout the house. Now, I constantly have to clean those out. And once you clean them out, they run great. Get a new battery for them. Maybe the 400-year battery will come into play here soon, because I have to buy a new battery every about 2 to 3 years on these Roomba things. But this woman right here lost her Roomba, had no idea where it went. And we've lost Roombas here in the house. You know, they end up underneath the bed. They get caught on a sock or something underneath the bed. And you're like going, oh. The newer Roombas will actually tell you, doo-doo. Please help Roomba. He's stuck in a corner, or she's stuck in a corner, whatever kind of nationality you want to put on them, gender on it. Doo-doo. And we had the app, and the app doesn't work. It works to a certain point, but I can't talk to the goddamn Roomba, because by the time I figure out, hey, where's the Roomba at? I look, find Roomba. The Roomba's dead. It's like laying in a ditch somewhere dead. Well, this woman right here, the woman's robot vacuum disappeared for 2 days without a trace, and then she checked on her Ring camera and found it. You've heard about losing cats and dogs running out away from their home, resulting in the owners being frantic and worrying about them. But few people might not have faced the problem with their Roomba leaving the house in the same sense, much less for 2 days. The influencer Betsy Production could not find her Roomba for 2 days and made a startling discovery on the Ring camera when it kept going off in the middle of the night. The hilarious video was accompanied by George Michael's Freedom, a song in the background, has gone viral, amassing 25 million views. Really, people? Don't you have something else to worry about, like credit card debt or something? And assessing more than 27,000 comments. In the 14-second clip, which I'll play here in a minute if you hang on long enough, viewers witnessed the Roomba slowly moving away from the house, and the text overlay reads, couldn't find my Roomba for 2 days and then saw it on the Ring camera. The woman clarified that the comment section that she had left her door open while to move Christmas decorations during the day. She also mentioned that she normally stopped at the stairs, but the Roomba almost normally... Jesus Christ. She also said that the Roomba normally stops at the stairs, but the people in the comments found out the video was hilarious and asked for a couple of hilarious questions. Now, I've had the Roomba. Normally stops at the stairs. We have a little mud room. It's got like 4 stairs going down or steps going down. It'll stop there. But if I leave that front door open, like in the summertime or like fall, summertime, we'll leave the front door open. It'll push its way out the screen door and end up on the front deck here. So that's exactly what happened. So I'm going to play this video. And if you want to see this in real time, go over to YouTube, search DeaconLive Podcast, give us a subscribe over there, and you can see every video and you can see all the articles and the video portions of the show over there as well. So I'm going to switch here and go to... I'm gonna get flagged for this. Here we go. So she's got all right, hold on there, Roomba guy. So she's got a little curved little sidewalk, and the Roomba is just literally like making its way out down the sidewalk. There it goes. And is it picking up dirt? Oh yeah, it picked up a leaf, and then it hits the edge, and then takes a turn on the sidewalk. And it's going to go to the other side of the sidewalk and then out into the grass and then on about its day. All right, guys. Oh, I didn't switch the camera forward. Let me try that one more time. I have to play this one more time. So there you go. It goes down, picks up a leaf, turns, goes out on the other side of the sidewalk, and then wraps up its day. All right, guys, speaking of wrapping up our day, I'd like for you to follow us over on TikTok. Be Podcast Famous. That's the way you can find us, and go over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us over there as well. And as soon as I figure out the whole Facebook thing, I will do that and let you know, keep you updated on that when we get joined back on the Metaverse. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying goodnight and goodnight.
Wait, come back.
This is the end. The absolute absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Yeah, trying to do as many as I can. All right, guys. See you. Take care.